Hi, I'm Lita Ford, and you are watching The Hard Rock Show. So drink up and rock on.
All right, welcome to the Hard Rock Show. You all know me. I'm Andrew. What you don't know is these two guys here. We've got Dennis Suzuka and Jimmy Van Zeno. These guys have come in to help me in a big way. We've got a lot to go through with this season. Shane's left the show in case you've been following the Facebook page. These two guys are here to help me out, so say hi. What's up?
You got to hold the microphone.
Yeah, that normally helps.
What's up?
I'm dealing with learners here, folks. So
Hello. Hello.
This is going to be an interesting season. Without further ado, let's get into it. This week's clip of the week is going to be a band from New South Wales called the Snowdroppers and their clip Moving Out of Eden. Okay, while there are some format changes to the show in this season, one thing hasn't changed, and that's the hot topic, and we've got a really big one to talk about this week, and that is the Palace Theatre. One of the iconic venues in the city is under threat. They're going to demolish the damn thing so they can put up another fucking hotel. Just what we don't need. All right, so there's a petition online and a Facebook page with the details up on the screen now for you to get on, sign it, try and do what you can to save this place. But you guys give me your thoughts on the venue and why it needs to be saved.
Well, for me, I'm old enough to remember the Metro nightclub back in the 80s, and there was, what was it called? Goo. I think it was Goo.
Yeah.
Goo was the night, and I think it was Thursday night, and Thursday night we'd go down there and the joint would be packed. Yeah. It would be absolutely full of people, chock-a-block. They'd have bands there. It was just an awesome night. So I've known that place for years and years. Yep. Kind of grew up, through it. And then, so many live bands have come through and played, and it's such a great venue for not, the lower key sort of international bands that come through.
So mid-tier type stuff.
Yeah, and I've always thought it's a beautiful venue when you go in there and have a look at it. It's awesome. And, they did, they have House of Rock there. And, opening night there was great.
Yeah.
It's a venue that it would be great if it stayed, but I mean, it's not sounding too good, is it really?
But yeah.
It's definitely one of the best venues in Melbourne, and I do believe it should stay, but we'll try our hardest to make it stay. And I mean, I've seen Zappa play Zappa there. Yeah. Children of Bodom, Steel Panther, some really iconic bands and up-and-comers, even local bands that have played there, and like at House of Rock, as Jimmy said before, and it's a great venue, and I'd love to see it stay.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it's a rare size. I mean, it's a little bit smaller than Festival Hall, I think, in capacity.
Yeah.
But it's good for bands to get out here. But I mean, Airborne did their last tour and they played there and things like that. And a lot of bands do come from international and play this. And we need to keep, I think it's something like, it's over 1.2 billion or something a year that live music injects into the economy.
Massive.
We need to keep venues open. This is just a symptom of a greater evil, I think, that's out there. I mean, Cherry Bar, I think, will be under threat because of development that's going on near that too. Yep. And, even people like Scott Ian from Anthrax has called that place the best rock and roll bar in the world. We've got an iconic culture for music in this country, in this state. Melbourne is the mecca, not only in this country, but also known for that internationally. It's really got to be anything and everything we can do to save the whole scene, the whole vibe, I think is really important. So again, details at the bottom of the screen. Get on, sign the petition, do everything you can, follow the Facebook page and get involved, because...
Are there protests happening?
There will be. I know that by the time this goes where there's one just gone, but hopefully they'll do more. And I know that we're talking to the people involved in the campaign to try and see what we can do to help. We will keep you up to date as we can, either here or via our own Facebook page. But for now, let's just do what we can to save an iconic venue.
Support.
Support. All right, now a new segment for you guys to get involved in and hopefully enjoying this season is Dave's Gearbox. Check this one out.
G'day folks, and welcome to the first edition of Gearbox. Great to have your company. For the first edition, I thought we'd go right back to the start, and for me that begins and ends with the electric guitar. So today we're out at Valley Music in Lilydale to have a chat with a bloke called Adam Cole, who's guitar player and singer in a great Melbourne band, an institution called Bug Dust. He's also guitar tech for such great Aussie bands as You Or My and Grinspoon. He's an absolute gun, ripping bloke. Let's go and meet him. Colsey, how are you, mate?
Good, Dave. How you doing, mate?
Decent.
What brings you out to the valley?
Well, just through the neighbourhood. We thought we'd pop in and say g'day. What are you working on, bro?
Just piecing back together little Joel from Airborne's Broken Explorer. This one's had tons of carnage done to it.
The streets of my school can't get enough of a good time. Gonna live it up while still alive. I'm a hellraiser, risk taker, full speed ahead till I'm dead in the face.
Fallen off stage at Iron Maiden, broken this bit, broken the headstock, and this one happened in a brutal display of brutal display of rock and roll raucousness.
Jeez.
I believe maybe in Sydney, maybe. I'm not too
Okay.
sure. Sydney Metro, maybe.
Works his guitars like a borrowed horse, it's fairly safe to say.
Well, you know what? They're the money makers, these ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is the number one. And unfortunately, the day it lost the old VB lid, bottle cap lid, was the day she decided to implode. So, I don't know if there's a bit of voodoo going on there, but we'll put it back together.
So you're on a bit of a tight deadline with this. Got to have it back.
It's got
glued.
to go to Europe's or Canada. I'm not too sure. On Thursday, Saturday, 2 days.
So when did you get it? Yesterday.
Sheesh. Monday after
Monday.
Splendor in the Grass.
In the grass. Of course, you were up there with You and My. Good weekend with the boys.
Double dipped, 2 gigs, Friday and Sunday. Shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. It's good fun.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Good gigs.
Awesome. So just for the benefit of the folks at home, you, as I explained earlier, you were guitar tech for Grinspoon and You and My. What does that involve? What's your job? What doesn't it involve? Probably more to the point.
Wiping spit from guitar leads.
Nice.
Sweat.
Yep.
De-sweating. Hopefully handing guitars in tune. Sorry, Tim. Maintenance, making sure all the shit gets packed up and then set up for the gig. It's a bit of everything, you know. You got to make sure that make sure that stuff doesn't fail during the gig. That's the one you got to sort of preempt everything. Check your leads, you know. Weakest links, check your leads, batteries, power, trip hazards.
Nerve-wracking?
Sometimes, yeah, when it's like, you know, when there's film.
Just before the lights are about to go down?
Yeah.
Is that the tensest time?
Yeah, the walk-on music is usually the time where you usually need to go to the toilet. And then you go, oh, I've got an hour. But no, it's pretty good fun, you know, it's a buzz. When it's a good show, it's electric, you know.
Awesome.
You know, there's the Baz who works doing lights with the You and My guys. He was saying that he's worked with just under 500 bands, and he was telling us, you know, his number one band, and he just said the number one band was just beyond electric, you know, just as soon as the buzz started, you know, just before the show happened, he said it was just another level of you can't explain how you know, how crazy those feelings can be
Yeah.
and what they are. You know, it's
It's
good
what
to be.
keeps us coming back for more, isn't
That's
it?
it. Good to be part of a team that can be part of either something that's unpredictable, chaos. You know, good fun, good rock and roll.
All right, album review time. As we've been doing for a while now, you guys should be very used to this. We're going to kick off. We're going to try and go basically from the start of this year all the way through to the end of the season, keep things up to date as much as we can. Got a lot to get through, so we're going to get started with Helloween and Straight Out of Hell. Now, this is a fucking ripper of an album. I love this one to bits. Really old school, really melodic. I love the riffage in this. It's really, really good. Now, I love it a lot. Now, the vocals for me, I know you weren't completely sold on the vocals when we were talking about.
No, I wasn't, no.
No. See, I liked them. They're nice and clear. They come through. Lyrically, it's really interesting. It's got a definite Euro flavour to it. For me, it's full-on European sort of metal. But it's got a lot of pop elements in it as well, which I sort of find a bit, I guess, it'll be off-putting to the purists that are full-on, you know, Maiden freaks and things like that. It'll be off-putting to them. But for me, for something different, something still very heavy and very cool, I like this one a lot. And for me, my top two picks were Nabatia, which is the opening track on the album. And fuck, it's a good way to open it up. I love it a lot.
Is that an instrumental?
No?
Shows how much I know about the album.
Did you even listen to it?
I did.
You better. Let's hope so. You had to be.
Of course I did. Love it.
Yeah, I can tell. You don't even know which one's the instrumental. The other one for me, my other favourite on this album, is a song called Arsehole. Now, you cannot go past a track with that title and that theme, in my mind. I love that song. It's awesome.
It is cool.
Very catchy. What about you guys? What are you guys' thoughts on the album?
You.
Well, being a big Helloween fan, especially of the Michael Kiske era, I didn't find the vocals very appealing to my tastes, but the guitar work, amazing as always, because that's what you get when you listen to Helloween. Amazing European, shredderlicious, melodic guitar work, and it makes me moist. Now, my standout songs for the album.
You tried to keep a straight face for a little while.
Is Kai Hansen still in the band, or?
No,
Nah, it
he
shows
left
how
a
much I
while
know
ago.
about
Yeah,
Helloween.
You really have done your homework this
right.
week, haven't you?
Okay,
good one,
right.
good one, Jimmy. This is why we can't have nice things. Now, my standout songs for the album were "Burning Sun," which was a John Lord tribute from Deep Purple, who passed away sadly. The Hammond organ version, which is a bonus track on the album, is a great addition, and it was beautiful. The other song which really stood out for me was the title track, Straight Outta Hell, which is about heavy metal cliches. So for all you elitists out there, take note. Now, Jimmy?
Well, yeah, I've listened to this album heaps, as you can tell. But no, I actually did. I listened to it and I really enjoyed it. But see, for me, I was a fan of Helloween back in the Michael Kiske days. Years ago, you know, Keeper of the Seven Keys 1 and 2 and Walls of Jericho and all that sort of stuff. I used to love Helloween when I was a kid. And then I think Kiske left and that was it for me. I kind of forgot about him. And then I got their last album, was Gambling with the Devil, and I really liked that. But I think it got pretty mixed reviews. But I liked it. And then this one's come along and I really enjoy it. But with the vocals, it sounds like, it kind of sounds to me like he's got something stuck in his throat.
Okay,
Almost.
Yep.
But I really like him as a vocalist. I think he sings really well. He's hit some really cool high notes there, and I enjoy his singing. It's well produced, as you said.
Yeah.
It's a really cool European power metal thing, you know? Don't you reckon?
Definitely.
Love it. Yep.
So my tracks, it's a good album. I gave it an 8 out of 10, did I? Yeah. And my tracks are Live Now and the title track. I thought, you know, those two are standouts for me.
Well, have a look for yourselves, guys. Here's a taste. All right, next review. I know one of us is very keen about this one, but we'll go to him last. This is Saxon with Sacrifice. Now, as far as albums for the week goes, this is probably going to be a highlight. It's very, very well done and very tough to beat for this week.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's strong, period fucking metal. What else do you want? The vocals are still killing it, and I don't even know how old the guy is now, but he's getting up there, and it's just sort of...
62, I think.
Yeah.
He is.
So to be pulling out the notes with the strength vocally alone, it's fucking impressive. You can't really, I don't know what else to say about the vocal. You cannot rate about it. You got to hear this album for yourself to really understand just what we're talking about. It's definitely worth it. The guitars, you know, the lyrical content, it's all so good and interesting and diverse. It doesn't get boring. There's some interesting little not remixes, but re-recordings and some acoustic stuff on, you know, the bonus sort of edition. But really cool stand-up album, thoroughly metal and thoroughly Saxon. I don't think you're going to go past it. These guys haven't lost a step. They've been going at it for a long time, and it's good to see that some of these bands can still kill it, and you can imagine these guys at a festival like Wacken still slaying all in their path. All right.
For me, is it my turn?
I'm just going to go through my picks first.
Go for it. I'll shut up.
And then I've got, so for my picks, I've got Guardian of the Tomb. Really cool song. I like that one a lot. And the other one for me is probably not, I wouldn't know if I'd call it the best song on the album, but it's Made in Belfast. And the reason is because it's got a really cool story, sort of a content, all about the ships being made in Belfast. And I've never heard a song written about that kind of topic before, which made it really interesting. And it's also really catchy. Gets stuck in your head. That chorus I can still hear in my head over and over again now as I'm talking about it. So your turn. You go for it.
Yeah, no, I echo your thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool album. And Biff Byford, 62 years old, and he's just killing it vocally. Unreal. I don't know how the hell he's doing it. You know, I hope when I'm 62 I can pull off half of that sort of stuff. But he's really cool. And Saxon are one of those bands like I grew up with a band like that, but I've never really gotten into them because they used to be known as the poor man's Iron Maiden. And you know, for me, it was always Maiden, and that was it. You know, Saxon were kind of in the background. So I've heard so much of their stuff over the years, but never really grabbed me. You know, so to listen to this was really cool, and I'm surprised that I've never gotten into them. You know, and now that I've heard this a couple of times, I'm like, shit. You know, what have I missed out on? There's bloody 30 albums out there or whatever. Yeah. So really cool. The production's fantastic. Songs are great. The lyrics are really cheesy to my mind, but that's kind of okay because it's just all, you know, you look at Saxon, you look at their pictures and shit like that, and you just know what you're going to get. It's just metal and, you know, all that. And so that's really cool. And my picks were Warriors of the Road and Stand Up and Fight. Yep, cool songs. And it's a really great album for blokes. I think the guitarist, I had it written down here, the guitarist is 62 as well. Yeah. So the Biff and, what's his name? Paul Quinn, never heard of him, but he's pretty good, obviously. They've been together for, you know, 30 plus years, probably 40 years, these guys, and they're still putting out these really cool songs that would show up a lot of younger bands.
And they're still doing a shitload better than Steve Harris is on his own.
Yes, that Steve Harris album was a shocker.
Sure.
But so it's more bloody power to them, I reckon. Good on them. It's a fucking great album. Go get it.
Now, I'm a huge Saxon fan. Yes. You should all know this.
Take a lean back for these.
Take notes, children. Now.
We're all waiting for this.
Now, the production on this album was great. I thought it was a modern album with a classic sound, yet a classic album with a modern sound. Now, think of it. Think what I just said and take it in. Take it in.
Can you repeat that?
Can you say it 10 times fast?
A modern album with a classic sound, a classic album with a modern sound.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, a classic album with a modern sound, a modern album with a classic sound. The standout tracks for me were Standing in a Queue, which I don't think Andrew liked much.
No, for me, lyrically, it was just, with all the content going on in the other songs, the song is cool, but the lyrics for me were distracting.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, all I need to do is listen to Biff's voice and I'm happy. But the riffing was classic 80s riffing. It was amazing. Yeah. The best song on the album, in my opinion, was Warriors of the Road, which had me literally jumping out of my seat and dancing like a lunatic around my house the first time I heard it.
That would be cool to see.
And I give this song, I give the album 8 out of 10 Saxon bombs. And if you want to know what that is, Saxon! Yeah!
All right, last review for this week is Lord, Australian metal band from, I think, Wollongong. Yep. These guys deserve to be up there with the best, as far as I'm concerned.
Most definitely.
For metal like this to be produced out of Australia is a fucking feather in our cap, and I love the fact that it's homegrown.
It's awesome.
Fantastic. It's melodic, it's heavy, it's all the things you want out of a metal, power metal, old metal album and more. It's creative. It's got a bit of a sci-fi sort of theme going through it with a bit of a story. Nothing too over the top, so it's not like your Operation Mindcrime type stuff where it's going to get a really in-depth sort of storyline, but it's really cool. There's just enough of a theme going through it to keep you, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I get where this is going, but it's not enough to be distracting at the same time. Well produced, especially, again, you know, a lot of the Americans out there say that, you know, we can't produce albums the same way they do in Australia. This album is bollocks to that theory. Take it and stick it right up your ass. This is fantastic. Can't rave about it enough. You guys have to get to a gig. If you can't get to a gig, they've got a shitload of videos on YouTube. Go and check them out.
Yes.
It's just phenomenal stuff. And go and check out the back catalogue, the works. The guys are fantastic guys as well. Had a chance to speak with Andy from a little while ago, just in a phone interview. Like I said, fantastic stuff, fantastic guys, fantastic band, fantastic fucking album. Get onto it. You've got to get this and support the local stuff. Now, for me, the picks were Walk Away, which is one of the more melodic ones. I tended to go for the really melodic ones. I mean, I've got a personal penchant for that kind of thing. And the other one was Chalkboard Prophet. Now, just because, again, the story and that and all that kind of stuff. Really cool lyrics, really cool sounds, excellent production. You just can't go past it as far as I'm concerned. It's a very strong contender.
Indeed.
What about you guys?
Jimmy?
Oh. Yeah, well, Lord, yes. We're talking, yeah, Lord.
Wow, you just went off somewhere else, didn't you?
I was away with the fairy for a sec. Lord, yeah, man. Again, I echo everything you say because they're Aussie, the Wollongong. Andy Dowling's a good bloke, mate of mine, mate of his. You've spoken to him. He's a lovely man. He likes tuna, and that's an in-joke that he will get.
And he looks like John Farnham.
He
thinks he does. He wishes he was John Farnham. Yeah.
But LT, as a vocalist, is a fantastic vocalist. He's awesome. He's one of the best going around in Australia, I reckon.
Fuck yes.
I love everything about the album. We've talked about the production. I think it was done by LT. I'm not quite sure on that, but I'm sure he'll correct us if we're wrong. But really cool album. There's some great songs on it. It had Point of View and Digitalized title track for me. They're doing so well. Like they tour around. They're on festivals. They're overseas all the time. They're touring around Australia. You've got to get out and support them. They're one of the best, if not the best, sort of traditional almost metal bands in Australia, I reckon. And
these guys and Volvagun should go and work together.
Yeah, and they've been at it a long time. And what was the other band? What was the first band we were talking about before that LT did?
Dungeon.
Dungeon, of course. Yep. Dungeon were cool. So, you know, they've been going at it for years, and more power to them. They're a really good band. And get the album and get to a show and support them. Yep. Most important thing.
Most definitely.
Are you doing a Lord bomb?
Now, when it comes to...
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to metal, Lord definitely reigns supreme. Now, the new album, I wasn't actually expecting it to be as good as the last one. And when I heard it, well, was I fucking wrong or what?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Digital Lies, the actual song, the title track, I think it's probably the best heavy metal song in the last decade.
Wow,
and that's a pretty big call.
Big call.
It's amazing.
It's a great song.
It sent tingles into my mangina. And because we can, being a guitarist myself, now the video clip for that, check it out on YouTube, folks. It was actually better than the song. Just because Andy Dowling has toilet paper hanging out of his pants. But it's just pure shred, and it's amazing. And they get ice cream in the end.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Top-notch production as well. I recommend you check it out ASAP.
Feature artist time now. This season we're kicking off with a bang. Our highest profile guest to date, and quite frankly, I'm wrapped we got the chance to talk to her. She's fantastic, lovely in person, one of the best interviewees I've ever had, and her name is Lita Ford. Her album we reviewed on a season previous. Her latest one is Living Like a Runaway. Now, she's got a live album coming out soon called The Bitch Is Back Live, I think it's called.
Cool.
Looking forward to that because she does put on a very, very good live show.
Yep.
Did get to see her after doing the interview with her.
Nice.
It was fantastic. An icon, a trailblazer. Her career took a huge bump courtesy of a prick of an ex-husband. There's a whole backstory there. She does go into that in the interview, so I'll leave the story there for the interview as long as it makes the final cut. If not, it'll be in the YouTube content. Now, for me, the album is her most heartfelt piece of work. It may not be, you know, the best hard rock or metal album out there, but for her to put this out, it's genuine, lyrically and musically. It is well produced. And considering it's her comeback after I don't know how many years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I reckon she still is at her best on this album, for me personally. I know that you probably may or may not agree with me so much with our conversations in the past, but I love this album. It's definite hard rock, not so much metal. Definitely fits into that vibe more. Few cool covers on there and stuff in the bonus edition and things like that, but it's very cool, very worth checking out. And again, she's a lovely lady and well worthy of having some support, I reckon. One of those ones you feel like has been taken advantage of a bit in her time.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I'd take
musically,
advantage of her.
Yes, you would, Dennis.
you would. Musically, it's a fantastic album. I love it to bits. Definite solid hard rock. Good riffs, good vocals, good lyrics. Very stand-up solid album. For me, the picks were Devil in My Head and Hate. I love those two tracks the most. They're probably the more aggressive of the ones on there as well, but they're really cool.
I had Hate as well and Branded.
Branded's cool, yep.
Yeah, Lita Ford, again, this is another one of these people that I grew up with. You know, I can remember when it was huge news in the 80s when Lita Ford was going out with Chris Holmes.
Yeah.
And that was huge, and everyone knew about it. It was like that was when metal was really popular and hard rock was really popular, and Bon Jovi was swinging from, you know,
Back when he was
whatever
releasing decent music.
Yeah, And so I've known of Lita Ford ever since I was a kid, but I've never really given her the time that I probably should have.
Yep.
You know, over the years, I've just kind of let it go. But obviously, the Runaways and all that sort of stuff, I loved all that. But so I hadn't heard a Lita Ford album for a long, long time, and I really enjoyed this album. And it's like you say, it's back to basics, but it's another one of those where it's great that she's still putting out music, you know, and really enjoying what she's doing. Yeah. I didn't see her live, but yeah, from all reports, that was really a great show. Yeah, look, I enjoyed the album. I thought to me, it kind of sounds a little bit dated in parts, but that's cool. You know, she's doing what she loves, and she's doing it really well, and that's the most important thing. She's obviously happy being back out there and doing it. So good luck to her. You know, and it's catchy. There's some great choruses on there. She's singing really well. The production is really good. It's an enjoyable album, you know. So I can't knock it. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. Yep. I'd listen to it again for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, if you're a Lita fan for a long time, you'll most likely love this album. If you're new to her stuff, you might not. Personally, I thought the guitar tone for the album sucked, but the production was pretty well balanced aside from the guitar tone. My standout tracks were the title track, Living Like a Runaway, and Asylum, which I thought was a very cool song.
That's a cool song as well,
Yeah.
And yeah, like Jimmy said before, she's doing what she loves, and we wish her the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, as we've mentioned, there's an interview with this, so we'll throw the interview now, and straight after that, we'll go to her latest clip, which is Mother, which is from the album. Enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. We're here with the one and only Lita Ford. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome to Melbourne again, first time in a long time.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. How's Melbourne and Australia in general treating you at the moment?
We love it. We love it here. Our guitar player Mitch was just saying if he got stuck here and we couldn't get out of the country, that he would not be upset.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's cool. So after 15 years away from the music industry, what sort of was the kickstart for you to get back on the wagon, so to speak?
I missed it. I
Yeah.
missed the heavy metal. I took 15 years off. I had 2 boys,
Yep.
and I just wanted to focus on being a mom.
Yep.
And now that the boys are a little bit older, I was able to turn my back and play rock and roll again.
Cool.
The music scene had changed
Yeah.
too, when grunge kicked in.
Yeah.
And I think now it seems like it's changing again.
Yeah.
For me, for the better.
Yeah.
And now it's my music is more accepted in
Yeah.
the music industry.
Yep. So what's your take then on the general, I guess, most of the radio stuff that gets played, most of the mainstream exposure stuff is all auto-tuned to the shit house, and there's
Yeah.
not really any genuine talent, in my opinion, on those albums, records, whatever you want to call them anymore.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that side of the progression of musical evolution
Yeah,
to this
it's
point?
very strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, but it's, I spent some time in Miami,
Yep.
and the Miami music scene is very mechanical.
Yep.
It's not really, they're not really musicians
Yep.
or singers or
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. And I think that our younger generation that's coming up, our next generation, are singers and they're
Yep.
guitar players and they're drummers.
Yep.
And they want to play real instruments.
Yeah.
So I think, the music scene is changing for the better
Yep.
in that aspect.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
So about the album, Living Like a Runaway, in my opinion, it's one of your best pieces of work, one of your most honest and full-on pieces of work on a personal level. What was it like to create that album, and tell us what it was like to work with Gary Hoey?
Gary was an absolute godsend.
Yep.
We were looking for record producers, and I wanted somebody who was going to be able to wrap their head around Living Like a Runaway,
Yep.
the album. And there was a few record producers that were available at the time, and they were saying, we don't want to produce Lita. Lita's a dated artist.
Yep.
We don't want to do this record. And they didn't even hear the record.
Yeah.
They didn't hear anything about what I wanted to do. So when I met Gary and I clicked.
Yep.
He was finishing sentences where I would start the sentence.
Yeah,
It
cool.
was almost like he was inside my head,
Yep.
and he understood everything that I was playing and him being a guitar player as well.
Yeah.
We really gelled on that level. So I started writing with Gary.
Yep.
He offered me his studio,
Cool.
and I took
Spent
him up
about
on
a year
it.
all up, didn't you, doing that?
It was a year.
Yep.
1 year we spent writing and recording that album.
Yep. So what first inspired you to pick up the guitar, try and take on the world, go with the Runaways and all that sort of stuff at the beginning,
Oh,
and what
wow.
inspires you now?
What inspired me to pick up the guitar? Well, I started playing when I was 11.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I started playing. I just wanted to be a guitar player.
Yep.
And when I was 13, my cousin took me to my first concert,
Yep.
which was Black Sabbath.
Oh, awesome. That's a
And-
way to start it off.
Oh, God, it was
Yeah.
like, yes, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be.
Yep.
You know, I saw my whole life before me when I saw that Sabbath concert.
Awesome. So what about now in the modern day type thing? I know a lot of this album is reflective of your personal experiences over the last few years, but what
Yeah.
is that the main driving force, or are other forces behind it now that still inspire you to get up and keep going?
Oh, there's a lot of things that inspire me. The guitar playing on the record, for one, is, the dual harmony
Yep.
guitar parts. I love that. The old the Judas Priest and Scorpions.
Yep.
They have those beautiful harmony guitar parts, and I think Living Like a Runaway has some of that on
Yeah.
there.
You must have had some really great highs, and on the flip side, some deep lows during the course of your career and your personal life in the business. What do you think has been your highest high and your lowest low to date?
My highest high, I think, I don't think I've reached it yet.
Yep. Cool.
I think it's coming.
Yep.
And I can see, I can feel it,
Yeah.
you know. And obviously my lowest low would be losing my kids.
Yeah.
I think they're coming back.
Okay. Cool. That's a good thing.
I can feel in my heart that they will be back.
Yep.
But for that to happen, where they've been taken away from me by their father.
Yeah.
You know, he's in another country.
Yeah.
And it's not protected under the United States law.
Oh, okay. That makes it hard.
It's just you don't take babies away from their mom.
No.
You don't do that.
Yeah. What advice do you have for bands now that are trying to come through the ranks and make it in this business?
Oh boy. I would say just follow your heart.
Yep.
You know, don't let anybody steer you in a direction that you don't feel or see.
Yep.
You know, you have a vision. You know where you're going. You know what path you want to go on. Don't let anybody steer you on a different path.
Yep.
Follow your heart.
So you're somewhat of a trailblazer throughout your career. What do you think at the end of it all you'd like to be most remembered for?
Wow. Well, I think I'm one of the first women in rock
Yep.
that plays guitar
Yep.
and does what I do in a man's world. And I'm not gay. I'm
Yeah.
not. You know, I've got a large following of younger generation, older generation,
Yep.
and male and female
Yep.
role models. So I don't know. I feel like when I left after I took my 15-year hiatus,
Yep.
I left a pair of shoes, and I use this terminology because it's easiest to understand and relate.
Yep.
But I left a pair of shoes sitting there unfilled. And it's almost like the Wizard of Oz story, you know, where nobody fits in the red ruby slippers except that one person.
Yep.
And that person comes back and puts on those shoes, and they still fit, and they're still unfilled. And I feel like maybe I left a pair of shoes sitting there 15 years ago,
Yep.
and they're still sitting there. I come back 15 years later, and they're still sitting there unfilled. And they don't fit anybody but me.
Yep.
It's wild. I don't know why, but I just feel blessed that I'm that person.
Yeah.
I can go to my grave with that.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and the honesty with
Thank
your
you.
answers. Very much appreciate that. So.
My pleasure.
All right, time to close out the show. Hope you've enjoyed this week's episode and put up with these two learners beside me.
It's been fun.
Yeah. So
We're going to do it again?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
I think so.
It's a date.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tune in next week and find out. But until then, on behalf of these guys and Dave from Gearbox,
Drink out.
Rock up.
it's meant to be drink up and rock on, you douchebags.
Drink on and rock up. Who gets the riff, right?
Sensational. That's nuts.
Oh, fuck me dead.
I dare you to do the whole review like that.
I can't. I can't speak like
Wow. Wow.